So here's where we're at now. I've been kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with the rear suspension. I'm not sure. I don't know if we're going forward link or whatever, but been playing with some different stuff, and we got to do cantilever on this. The axle's so high up in the trunk that we're going to get into the trunk lid if we try to do bag over axle. Just not enough room. So what I've been playing with cantilever stuff. Kind of want to make something cool, but I'm to the point now where I need an axle kind of sitting in place to mock up with, and the way the fender wells are, they're not high enough, so our axle will not get up in there where we need it, you know, for full drop. And we need to mock this thing at full drop and at ride height to make sure everything's correct. So the part I've been dreading all this time is cutting these rear wheel wells out, because once again, I'm not a great sheet metal guy. I'm very new to it. So I think now's the time. We don't have a choice. We have to mock up the axle. So I'm not going to do the sheet metal work right now. We're just going to cut this out so we make clearance for our axle. But here's what we got. This is where we're going to start. I'm just going to cut this line all the way up and around. Get this piece out of here, because the top of the axle is going to be about where this line is at. And then we'll have to go back later and slip this up inside and get this body line back in. I want to keep this body line. So we're going to have to, a lot of sheet metal work is going to be involved in this one, going back together. But as of right now, we just got to get it cut out of the way so we got room to mock our axle up. The line's dropping down there. Let me see, where is my... So I did some reference lines on this, just here we go. Did some reference lines, dropping down right here, right here. All I did was just take our level, push it up here level, do some scribe lines in it or whatever. I don't even know if we'll need them, but later on when we start moving this up in, I want to see where we're at, because we might have to move this forward or backwards as we go up in, because we're going to separate down here. When we go up in, this is going to go farther out, so we're going to have to rebuild all of this. If we can try to shrink it up here to pull it back in, we will. But, you know, I figure these reference lines might come in handy later. Maybe not, but they're there if we ever need them. So I'm trying to work up the nerve to cut this thing, but I think it's time. So we're going to start cutting. Alright, so got the one fender well cut out, as you can see. Went pretty good, nice and smooth. Here's how much we've raised it up so far. That might change by the time we get everything else mocked up. Still gotta do the other side, so here we are. Still what's all original, so we're about to change that for this side too. See what happens. So now we got the fender wells cut out. Yeah. Both sides done. Should be cut high enough, I think, to get us where we need to be, and then we can trim it up from there once we get the axle and stuff mounted where we need it. That's the biggest thing. We gotta get the axle housing in here so we can get the rear suspension set up. You know, we're gonna do an airbag with a cantilever deal, and I'm probably gonna go with 4-link, but I haven't really decided yet. I want to get the axle in, set up where we need it, where I know this thing will lay on the ground with the tires that I want to run, and then we'll figure out suspension geometry from there. Let's get an axle up in here. Alright, so we got the axle put in, just kind of mocked up, and you know, a couple of little temporary saddles for it to sit in, about where we need it. I don't have it lined up or nothing, but just to kind of give me an idea of what we're going to have to do to deal with this, because man, it is way up in there. But here's what we got. So that's pretty much where the axle needs to sit to clear these tires. So these things are right around 34 inches total, and to get this body on the ground with that tire in it, there's where the axle needs to be. As you can see, we are just about into the trunk lid. We are going to be close. This doesn't quite fit across there, but you get the idea. We're going to be right against the trunk lid with the axle, and we're going to lay on the ground. So can't go any farther than that. Let's see. I don't know. Now I got to figure out what we're going to do with suspension. There's just not much room inside these things. So we got to do 4 links somewhere to here. But the farthest we can come forward inside the cab is to about here. And so that bag needs to sit here. We need to get some kind of link system set up here. It is tight. I don't care for it because whatever we go with, 4-link or 3-link or ladder bar, whatever, either way, the links are going to be so short that they're going to want to roll the rear end when we go up and down with the air ride. I like to have as long the links as I can get, typically, you know, within reason. But this car, they're going to be much shorter than I like. But we don't have a whole lot of choice. If we want air ride and want it this low, then this is the kind of things you got to deal with. So I'm going to rack my brain for a while and figure out the best way to do this without everything being in the way, and without cramming myself up in the car where I can't have any room to sit, because I don't want to do that either. You know, I know it's not going to be a daily driver, but still, got to leave myself a little bit of room inside. So I'm going to pull some more measurements and rack my brain a little more and try to get some more ideas.